Sorry I kept you waiting forever and a day, but now we're out here together with nothing standing in our way. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Like electricity. Taking over your body, it's flowing through your mind. This feeling's got me on fire. Don't ever leave it all behind. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love. Can you feel me? Ooh, can you feel me?
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
I fell and lost to the war, shot me dead. I was lost and I said to the voices in my head, I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. Look into my eyes, my heart beats like a drum. You listen to my lies. Love is far to come. Your love is far. Running at the speed of light, kissing under city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on. Running at the speed of light, kissing under city lights. Calls me in this morning time, but it just goes on.
Welcome. What's going on? How we doing? What's up, everybody? Welcome. We're live doing another options stream. We have Mr. Swan coming on tonight. Talk about options flow, Blackbox stocks, and more. Taking your questions. If you guys have ever wondered, your hair doesn't look like a poodle? No, it's worse. Now I'm aroused. Oh shit, dude, don't do this to me. I'll go red like a tomato, dude. Hi, bruh. What's going on? DT, welcome. I just realized my my chat box is messed up. How we doing tonight, guys? How was your day today? Welcome. Please make yourself at home. Damn, these messages be long. What the heck? Dude, Streamlabs changed like the chat, and now it's like out of control. Not so good. What happened? What happened? Thank you for the first time chat. Welcome. Come on in. Maybe this stream will help. So tonight, I have basically a representative from Blackbox Stocks coming on. His name is Jay Swan. I will show you his Twitter. You can go out and follow him. And we are going to take all your questions about options flow. I'm going to ask some questions as well about Blackbox Stocks as a platform. Right now, they have an awesome deal going on for $5 for the first month. So that's super cool. And then after that, it goes back to the regular price. But $5 just to try it. And I think that's... I don't think they've done anything like this before. So definitely something to check out.
Okay.
That is a good deal. No, it is. And it's really nice to try. That website has free real-time options flow. Yeah, you can try that too. Blackbox Stocks has a lot more features than just options flow, though. And we're going to dive into that today. It's got a lot of really cool stuff, really unique things that a lot of other services don't have. And that's why I brought on the expert tonight, Mr. Jay Swan. Let me show you guys where you can find him here. Let me pull him up on Twitter. And then we'll jump into it, guys. All right, here he's out on Twitter, Swan1427. Please hit him with that follow. And so what he does, which is super cool on his Twitter for free, is he'll post his watch list with his levels that kind of look like this. And you guys can check that out for some ideas at the open. And then what he does as well on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is he does some live trading also for free, and he'll post a link out. I can't find it right now, but basically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday he'll post a link out. It's like some sort of live service, kind of like Twitch. But he goes live and he does options trading off the open. Some day trades, in and out, fast stuff, so you guys can check that out as well. Swan's plays are second to none. Yes, sir. Yeah, so definitely hit him with the follow. Check him out. And let's get him on. Let's get him on live right now. And we'll ask him some questions. So if you guys do have any questions, even if it's the most basic, simple questions, don't be shy. Feel free to ask away. You know, we're not gonna make fun of you too much. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get into it here. Hello, Mr. Swan. How are you doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on the show once again. Round 2.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. How's your week been? Or your weekend, I guess, and then your Monday.
Weekend was good. We had some nasty cold weather here in the Midwest, but then it warmed up. Today was gorgeous, almost 80 degrees, I think. And,
right.
It was absolutely beautiful. How about you?
No, just worked today, 8 hours, which is not so bad, but got to do a couple things off the open, which is nice. I'm very lucky with the job that I have. But yeah, weather, like yourself, weather was a lot better today. I'm up in Canada, so we've been having a lot of shit recently. But
Yeah, I hear you.
no, it was nice today, man. Can't complain.
Good deal. I see XTMSC is a Swan Play fan. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Thanks for joining us tonight, XTMSC. Thank you. And for the first time chat as well, feel free to follow the stream. And yeah, so you're also on Blackbox. Okay, awesome. So yeah, what we want to do tonight, guys, is kind of just really break down the new features of Blackbox stocks, kind of showcase what they have coming, what they have that's already released. And if you guys have any questions, even basic questions for Mr. Swan, he is the expert. So definitely ask away. And yeah, we'll kind of get into it a little bit. If
Definitely not the expert. I'll do my best, but
yeah. No, you're good, dude. You're good. So you're still posting the watch list to Twitter?
You know what? What I did, 100, is because Blackbox is running this awesome deal, that $5 deal.
Right.
I pulled the watch list off Twitter for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can find it. I'm posting it in a couple different places. I'm posting it in Blackbox chat and also on Blackbox Discord in my mod room.
Gotcha.
So, I'm like, for $5, everybody needs to come check this out for a month. And then they can continue to get the watch list levels and everything that I put out. So,
gotcha. Okay,
yep.
cool.
And in a month, I'll bring it back to Twitter. I'll bring it back. I'm not going to keep it hidden, but for a month, I figure everybody can spend $5, come check this out at the same time, see what Blackbox is, what it has to offer and how it can fit everybody's different trading style.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like I said, that's a pretty crazy deal. Have you guys ever done anything like that before?
No, never.
That's crazy.
Never. I mean, we initially when you first sign up, you always got the 20% off discount, your first month, which took it down to $79.95. But no, we've never done anything at this level. So we're super excited about it. Currently, it's set to expire. The deal expires on Friday at market close.
Gotcha. Okay.
The 18th. So we'll see. Yeah, we're super excited. We've had record signups.
Yeah,
as you can imagine.
No, I bet.
And what we're trying to do now, I'm glad you brought me on for this, because now that people have signed up, we want them to see what Blackbox has to offer. It's so much that it can be a little overwhelming at first.
100%, man. And so yeah,
you're on our system, so Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, even as far as like just the settings to have when you're brand new, right? I think is really critical. Like you said, there's so many options. It's very versatile. It's not just a flow platform. There's so much more to it. And I can't wait to kind of break that down tonight. What's going on, Blessed Anubis? Thanks for joining tonight. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Blackbox actually started as a OTC scanner system.
Right, that's crazy.
Many years ago, that's what it started off as, is over-the-counter stuff, the low float movers, the algorithms built in to find those and flag those and alert them. And then we've slowly transitioned to option flow, and it's become so much more, especially with the team traders that we have now. There's not too many flow services out there where you not only get the flow, but you also get 12 moderators talking through it, helping you out, giving you the education you need. So yeah, I'm excited to go through this with you.
Yeah, that's what I always say too. It's like, you guys like your paid rooms. Well, this is like 13 paid rooms in one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
It's actually insane. Like the amount that you're getting for the price, especially $5. What the hell? That's crazy. And I like what you said here. A gallon of gas is $4.50. A pound of bacon is $7, and a month of Blackbox for $5. Priceless.
That's an old Visa commercial. Are you too young to remember that?
I don't remember that.
No, you're making me feel really old.
Well, maybe it's an American thing. I'm Canadian, so we don't know anything.
Yeah, nice try, but
yeah.
I think it aired in Canada too.
Okay. No, that's really funny. I like that. They should make a commercial out of that. But anyway, let's.
They should.
Yeah, right. Hey, thank you, Taco, for the 10 months. Appreciate that, man. Let's get into it, man. I don't know if you want to share your screen and we'll jump on.
Yeah, let me do that.
Sure.
Yeah, let me do that. Hang on one second. Let me grab this and.
Very well-known commercials on 100. Sorry, apologize. I'm uncultured.
Let's see here.
So Twitch chat, if you guys have any questions, you're good, brother. Thanks, man. The J huge. Appreciate you coming on tonight. If you guys have any questions in chat, feel free to. I think Jay Swan is in chat as well, so you can at either one of us, and we will see that and
Okay.
answer that as it becomes appropriate.
Let's see.
Perfect. You are good.
We good? Can you guys see me?
Yeah, you're perfect. So maybe we can start kind of at the beginning, and what can people expect when they walk in the door?
Sure. So when you first log in, this is our welcome screen, our main landing page, so to speak, after you log in. And it's divided up into little quadrants, as you can see, little boxes, and each one does its own little thing. I always start off by telling everybody that in the alert log, this was all taken today. So we're looking at today's price action. That's what the chart's showing. That's what these alerts are showing here. So when you first come in the morning, the system starts booting up at 7 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so we'll start getting alerts right around 7 o'clock, as you can see there, 7:03. And then they started populating in throughout the entire day. Now, these are stock alerts. So there's two sides of the platform. There's the stock side and the option side. When you come into the platform, you're on the stock side. So you can see these alerts have different colors. There's blues, there's orange, there's red. And then there's a little key here that you can click on that question mark, and it tells you exactly what you're looking at, what those different alerts mean. So that helps with the, especially with new people, they're like, what do all these different colors mean? There's just a nice little key there. You can also go to the education tab and download the stock guide, and then it does the same thing. Gives you a nice little document there, and you can scroll through that and read through all the different materials and what the different colors mean. So let's talk about, just for example, these red alerts. That's when a lot of people are like, what are these red alerts? We call them rapid decline alerts.
Okay.
So they're alerts that the system has picked up in the pre-market that the price has rapidly declined with volume and has set it up for a potential short for the day. Now, today, let's, for example, look at Tesla, and you'll see that there is a yellow line put in place right when that alerted this morning at 8:17 a.m. Eastern at 7:79. I can make this a little bigger, make it easier to read. There we go, a little bit easier.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, at 8:17 a.m. we get this alert stream, or alert goes in, and there's the price point, 779.44. So that came in right in pre-market, and you can see first thing Tesla did out of the gate was it dropped another almost $20.
Yeah, that was wild.
Then it just reversed back, came back up, put in a little head and shoulders, as you can see there. But what's interesting is these algo lines that the system picks up for pre-market alerts is pretty powerful. I mean, if you notice this, it bounced here, it tried to get back over here, rejected, and then later in the day it rejected again. This is after hours.
Right.
At this point, it rejected again, but then now it went up above. So we pay attention. Anytime we see a stock that has received one of these algorithm price ad alert lines, it's something to pay attention to, because oftentimes you'll see how that becomes either resistance or support throughout the day. It's just kind of interesting how that works out. Let's look at this one.
So does that auto-generate, or do you have to click something to add
No,
that?
that one auto-generates. As
Okay.
soon as the alert pops up here on the alert log, that line is generated because it gives us the time it alerted and the price it alerted.
Gotcha.
So SE was another one, same thing. I mean, if you look at SE, this morning it alerted pre-market. My system's lagging a little bit with the stream, but you can see it alerted here, came down first thing in the morning, used it as a springboard,
Gotcha.
and jumped up $5.
Huge bounce.
Then faded all day, and look how it held that line.
Wow.
So it's very powerful. These alert lines are pretty amazing. So pay attention to them as they come through. You typically see the high flyer tickers in the morning, the early morning. Later in the day, we get a lot of the low float type stuff.
Right.
But for example, mRNA at 9:45. Let's look at mRNA because it had a nice move today. You can see it was a little late to the party, but it did alert at this point, and you could have gained another $8 of move based off of that.
Wow. That's
So what we
crazy.
look at is, okay, a stock alerts. Now I want to go see what's the flow looking at, because this is strictly based off of price action of the stock price. These alerts here. This is not taking into consideration stocks or options. Now later you'll get ones like these gold alerts. Those are going to be also taking into consideration commons and stocks. Both are getting action. So that's always a nice signal when you start seeing yellow alerts coming in, because that means it's getting hit on the option side as well. So that's how we use the alert log. The volatility indicator here in the middle is basically our visual representation of what's happening on level 2. So if you're used to watching level 2, I mean, on some of these tickers, it can just make your eyes twitch. If you ever try to watch level 2 on some of the indices like SPY or UVXY, man, it can give you a headache.
Right.
But what this does is, of course, the market's closed, but if market was open, if there's buying pressure on level 2, the needle then is going to come down here to the green side, or if there's selling pressure, the needle will then head over to the red side. So it's a quick, again, visual representation of whether we're seeing buying or selling pressure on that level 2. So it's a quick glance. I don't trade off of it 100%, but I will watch it if I'm in a SPY trade or an SPX trade. Sometimes I will pull that up and just quickly see, okay, am I seeing selling pressure or buying pressure? It can fluctuate very quickly both directions based on what's happening, but that's what this level is here. And then on the charting side, the charts are very customized. You can do whatever you want with the charts. There's on the display setting, you can change it to candle view. You can go to Heikinashi. There's a lot of different options when it comes to the charts and the candles. You can also get rid of extended hours if you want. The overall theme, there's a day theme there. If you want to watch, then there's a night theme, and then you can do a custom theme. So that's always kind of nice. You can customize that out as you want. And then there's the studies. So there's a couple studies that we've introduced recently that have been really beneficial to so many members, especially because right now, option flow is just not the best. There's just not much option flow coming that's on the call side. I mean, obviously we've been red pretty much since the beginning of the year. So what we've had a lot of new members learn is this opening range breakout strategy, or ORB strategy. And that's been very helpful. And we've got the studies now built into Blackbox. So it's 3 different time frames: the 5-minute, the 15, and the 30. Gotcha. So basically what the opening range breakout is doing is it's taking the first 5 minutes of the day. So between 9:30 and 9:35, it'll take the high, it'll take the low, and it'll put a line at both. So you can see right there, there's your opening 5-minute low, there's your opening 5-minute high on mRNA. That's perfect. You can see how it touches right there and right there. Now, then you can use that as a level of breakout. So, okay, this was a beautiful example because it broke out right there. It broke out, came back down, retested it, and then continued on. I must be in Heikinashi candles. Let me go back to normal candle. Yeah, there we go. So we broke out, came down, didn't quite get a full retest, but we can see it came down, bought right back up, and then it continued to move for the next 20 minutes or so. So that's the 5-minute. Now you can also do the 15-minute, which is the one we use the most frequently, is the 15. So in the 15, it does the same thing. It shows the 15-minute low, and then it shows you the 15-minute high. So what this teaches traders, especially new traders, is it teaches them patience. Right. Because so many times we see traders jumping into candles in the first minute or two, and they just get slaughtered. Yes. Because they buy a Roman candle up or they buy a Roman candle down, and the ticker just quickly reverses on them. I mean, look at SPY this morning. Let me get back over here.
Yeah, imagine you went long there. Right.
I mean, look right here. You're like, oh, it's going, I'm buying. Right. And then you just got slaughtered with a $3 move down. Yeah. And then you buy this candle. Oh my goodness, it's dropping. We're gonna have just a big red day. Get puts. And then it reverses on you, and then you get a $5 move the other direction.
Man, we all been there.
It does. It does. It teaches you patience because you're like, okay, just wait. Let the 5 minutes set in. If there's a setup there and you get that retest, it's possible to take a small entry. For me and many of the moderators in Blackbox, we don't trade the first 15 minutes of the day.
Right.
We just let it sit out, let it shake out, then we kind of know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that orb 15 high. So we have the orb 15 high up here, and this is the orb 15 low. Look what happened throughout the day today. Once it broke through, it came down, retested, bounced, came down again, retested, showing weakness, failed, broke through it. Now the low becomes the support. Support breaks. Now support becomes resistance.
Like perfectly. And that's your Theta Warrior break. It's called the BRB. Yeah, the BRB. That's it.
Yep, the BRB. That's that Theta Warrior 100%. The breakout, retest, bounce, right? So this is the same thing on the downside. I mean, that is a beautiful short right there. When you see, let me zoom in. When you see this fail, come back, retest, and it does not pierce that line, that is a short all the way. And then you just watch it and play it the rest of the day, moving your stops, and then more than likely you probably got stopped out here for a nice little gain.
Yeah.
So on that bounce. So the opening range breakout has been a huge study that we love to have now built into the Blackbox system. There is the 30 as well.
What's your favorite, do you think?
I use the 15.
Gotcha.
So here's what I'll do, 100, is I'll add all three.
Okay.
So I will add all three on my chart because what that does, let me see if that's got all three on there.
Gives you some very strong levels.
It does. It absolutely does. And then I've got a setting here saved. Yeah, here we go. So this is showing all three. Let me get to a ticker. I think Q's had all three. Yeah, there you can see the three shades, right? So you have the 5 in the middle, the 15, and then on the 30, we actually went higher, and that's the blue.
Okay.
Now the green line you see on my chart is the 34 EMA. So what we have found is the 34 orb works well for the first half of the day.
Gotcha.
By 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we've already probably, unless it's just a sheer day of chop, we've already moved either up or out of the orb lines. So that's why you need an EMA there. We use the 34 because you can see right here we've moved. Now we're well out of the orb strategy, but now the 34 is resistance.
Gotcha. Interesting.
See,
Yeah, that's funny. I've never seen on the show before someone talking about the 34. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, 34 is a Fibonacci. It's a Fibonacci number.
Okay.
So, we use, for me personally, I can give you my rundown. I use the 8, the 21, the 34, the 55, the 89, the 200, and the 377.
Wow, that's a lot.
So I don't use them all at one time.
Yeah.
As you can see, it also depends on the time frame of the chart, right? So if I'm looking at a larger time frame, I'm going to look at some of those longer EMAs.
Gotcha.
Because the 8 and the 21 on a daily is not going to really show me too much, but there I'm going to be looking more at the 200 or the 377. And certain tickers react differently to different EMAs, and that's what you'll find is like Facebook, the 377 is that it reacts to 377 beautifully. So
the 377 being which one?
The EMA, the 377 EMA.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yep. So that's one that people don't use very often, but if you go back and look at a daily chart of Facebook and use the 377, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. When it's above it, it's a good thing, and when it's below it, it's a bad thing.
Okay, got you.
So that's what we use the orb strategy here. Now, you may wonder what these blue lines are, or these orange lines are. Those are the dark pool levels that have come in for the day. So Blackbox has the dark pool obviously as well. And if I click on alert stream over here, you can see this shows me all the dark pool has come in on the Qs because that's the chart that I'm looking at. And then as that populates, then you get a bar that shows you what that price level is. So, dark pool has become kind of a buzzword here the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And people are always like, oh, is it a buy or a sell? Is it a buy or a sell? Simple answer, we don't know. If anybody tells you they know, they're lying.
Right.
Because that's the reason why they transact on the dark pool, is they don't have to tell their intent.
Gotcha.
So we use them as levels of interest, okay, potential support and resistance. And you kind of see in that chart right there in the cues how these two levels of dark pool held as potential support for a good part of the day, morning. This served as potential resistance for the morning. And then once it broke through that, it was good night Sally all the way down to this next level.
Mm-hmm.
So we do use, I personally, I do use these levels of dark pool as potential support and resistance throughout the day as well. Because sometimes I know we've all looked at these charts and the price is out in the middle of no man's land. And you're like, why in the world did it decide to bounce there?
Right.
Or why did all of a sudden did it reach this price point and then just took a nosedive? Well, that's when you start looking at, okay, was there dark pool levels? Why was that support or why was that resistance? And no doubt you find it real quickly just by adding in some of these tools that Blackbox has. So that's what the charting system does. We also have, anchored VWAP is one that's become pretty popular recently as well. Right there, anchored VWAP. A lot of people don't know the difference between VWAP and anchored VWAP. So VWAP is always for the day, right? It starts for the day. Anchored lets you create a start date. So what's nice about it is you can take it all the way back to a certain low. We could take it all the way back to the February lows that we hit on the Qs or the SPY, and take that as our starting point. And then it creates a nice support line. A lot of times people use it more on the longer time frames to kind of see, all right, where are we potentially going to see a bounce off of some of this price action. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Anchor VWAP is there, and then you can do your different moving averages. And these are all the different studies that are built into the Blackbox charting. So that's the charting side. And then when you get your chart set up the way you want it, you go over here to view and you hit save view, and then it lets you name it whatever you want. And you can have multiple different saved views. So when you come in here in the morning, all you do is click on the one you want and it's preset. You don't have to do this every time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The system remembers your settings and you're good to go at that point. One new feature recently added this week is we are now showing phantom prints on the dark pool side. So what is a phantom print? Let me show you CVS. So today at almost 2:00, we got a phantom dark pool print at $96.35. Look at the price of CVS. $104.50.
Right.
We haven't traded at $96. Let me go back here and do this. We haven't traded $96 this year.
That's trippy.
So yeah, I'm still scrolling. Now we're going into 2021. And there we see $96 was about right here. So we're looking at probably the 9th of December was the last time we were at that price point. So what we have noticed over time is we get these phantom prints that come in on the dark pool side, which means we haven't traded at that price within the last 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Typically we see it on SPY, Qs, IWM, and they've served as magnets.
Gotcha.
The magnet could hit within the next day, could be the next week, could be the next month, but they do serve as magnets. We had one a couple weeks ago on the SPY that was $12 or $15 below the price that we were trading. And sure enough, within a week, we were hitting it and well below it at that point.
That's crazy.
So very unusual. We get these, but they are now called out in a nice color there, and easy to see. I think I talked with Charlie this morning and he's going to try to get us a filter that I can click phantom print and it'll just show me phantom print only.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So that'll be nice. So in the alert stream, that's one thing that we look for, is those phantom prints that come through on the dark pool side. Another thing that was added recently is insider buying. So you click on the filter and you go to insider, hit the check mark, and then it shows you all of the insider buying for the day. Not much happened today. It all was pre-market, and most of it was Oxy by Berkshire Hathaway. So they bought a bunch of Oxy today. Millions and billions and millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars, really.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you can also do the historical on this. So you can go to history and let's say, okay, I want to see what insider buying was done last week. So let me go over here to those dates, hit set. Now I'm looking at all of the insider buying on all the different tickers from last week. So that's of interest to a lot of people. We had a lot of requests for it, so we did bring that into Blackbox, and now you can get to it really quickly and easily.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So same thing on dark pool. You can also look at historical dark pool as well. So, you know, if you want to look at, let me pull up Amazon here. There's all the Amazon dark pool we got last week. So, you know, last week's when they announced that split. So they had some pretty good sized dark pool levels come in at that 29.36 level, even some up in the 29.10 level, but now we're currently trading at about 28.53. So
wow.
Yeah. But I love the historical side of things, that the system keeps track of all that and the history, so you can go back and after hours or pre-market and kind of do a little bit of research on things that we saw throughout the day.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I like that.
Yep. Let's go over to the option side now. So we have the stock side here. Here's the option side. Click on the option side. Option flow just scrolls through here throughout the day. I don't remember how many lines this shows you, but you know, if I scroll all the way down, it only takes me back to 3:12 p.m. But if I want to see all of the option flow, you can download it. So that little button right there, once you get the filter set the way you want it, so you can, here's the filters. So a lot of different ways to filter this. One thing we get asked a lot is, why don't I see SPY or QQQ flow? And that's because you have to manually come in here and check ETF. We purposefully don't check it initially because for new flow traders, if they were brought into every bit of flow that comes across the tape, they would be so confused.
Right. There's
so much of it, and 95% of it is trash. I mean, it is. It's just trash. I mean, it's just, am I going to follow this, you know, LVS right here?
Right.
Am I going to follow this $10,000 block? Absolutely not.
Right.
You know, so much of it is trash. But what happens is enough of it starts adding up and we start seeing repetition. I think Theta Warrior talked a lot about that on your last episode. Yeah. Where he said, you know, we're looking for that same strike, that same expiration, those contracts moving up, that premium, that IV going up. That's what tells us a story. So much of option flow, especially on put flow, can be hedging.
Right.
So we try to encourage new people not to really watch put flow because they see these huge transactions of put flow and they're like, oh my goodness, I got to get in. You know, I got to go short. When all that person is doing is throwing $100,000 of insurance on a multi-million-dollar long position.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to be careful with that. And that's why we use the term read flow, and it's like reading a book. You have to learn to read. You have to learn to read flow. And it should tell you the story, just like a book. You know, when you buy a book, it gives you the introduction, it gives you the main points, it gives you the middle, it gives you the conclusion. If you have to write the end of the book, it's not a very good book. So what we get so many times is these newer traders, they'll come in and they'll be like, is this good flow? Is this good flow? And it's like, if you have to ask, the answer is no, because it should be obvious to you. You know, you're trying to create a story that's not there. The flow will tell us the story. Let me give you an example.
It's the same thing as like forcing plays just off technicals, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all part of the puzzle. It's a piece. So this was some DAL flow that came in. I don't remember when this was, last week, I think. And so we see here IV, which is implied volatility, going from 85 up to 87. Look at the dollar amounts of premium. Well over 100,000, 260,000, 250,000, 330,000. Same strike. They're buying the 30s. They're buying this week's, flow, this week's expiration. Price of the contracts were going up, 245, 248, 253, 257. Some nice contract sizes. See, that's where if I just got one of these lines, I'd probably be like, nah. But now we get another one and another one and another one. These came in within 4 seconds of each other. You see that? 118.03 and 118.07. 4 seconds.
Wow.
Then, 8 minutes later, they hit it again within 12 seconds and put another 500,000 into it.
So that could potentially be the same person too, right?
Yeah. When we start seeing it come in that close within seconds, it is the same person.
Gotcha.
It's a sweep. So what they're doing is they're sweeping the exchanges. So it may get broken up into a couple different transactions.
Okay.
But it's the same person. The odds of you, 100, buying 500 contracts of that expiration and me buying the exact same thing 4 seconds later is second to none. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Unless we're pumping.
Well, it's true. Unless we're working together, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, even at that point, we're the same team.
Yeah, no, true.
So it's definitely the same buyer, the same desk, the same,
No, for sure.
trading pit.
Yeah.
But that's what we're looking for, that type of stuff. And once in a while, we get these big winners like this guy here, this Visa that came out last week. That was an expensive contract, $6,500 contract. Because it was so deep in the money, they bought the 135s and it was trading at 193. So deep in the money, 1.3 million in premium. I think those went up. I think those went up about $1,000 overnight. I think that was some. Wow. If you've got the 6,400, 6,500, I think you sold those the next day for 7,500. But that's kind of what we're looking for. Now, a lot of people wonder what these colors mean, and I know Theta went over this with your audience last week, but it all revolves around open interest.
Gotcha.
So white means open interest has not been exceeded. Purple means open interest has been exceeded, but over multiple transactions. And then yellow means open interest was exceeded in that single transaction.
Okay.
So let me, for example, let me pull up one that's not very, I don't want to do a put. Pull up Uber. There we go. So I don't have my brokerage account opened up, but if someone did, they could go look at the March 25, 2950s, those calls, and the open interest would be less than 714 because this is 714 contracts and it exceeded that in one transaction.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
That's
so
cool.
That's why we like those yellows. We call them opening transactions because you can't close something that's not there. So in this situation, that would be opening.
Oh, so yellows more often than not, or can they be closing ever? I guess not.
They can be in a weird way.
Okay.
So sometimes they're writing. They could be writing, calls or writing puts.
Oh, I see.
You don't see it very often. I mean, it does happen every day, but it's not your most common transaction that takes place, but it does happen.
Okay.
I mean, if you see something that's an AA, let me filter this a little bit. See what we come up with. There, someone this afternoon took a chance on some BABA weeklies. They bought some 80s. I mean, that thing just got pounded the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's an opening transaction there. They paid above the ask late in the day. It hit about right. Let's see, what time was that? 3:17. So they bought it about right here. Maybe probably going to hold it overnight to see if it gapped just a little bit. But someone threw $100,000 on it. That's an opening position, because that is 335 is more contracts than that was in open interest.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So that's why open interest is so important, because, you know, if you follow a whale into a contract, we check open interest regularly because we want to know if they're still in it. You know, we'll see them come out of the flow a lot of times, because all of a sudden we'll start seeing it hit as Bs or BBs, which means bid or below bid.
Right.
But that was, you know, one of those things where if you can't sit and watch flow all day long, which a lot of people can't, you know, because of their jobs, you definitely want to pay attention to open interest, because that next morning you want to look and see, okay, are they still 10,000 contracts in there, or is it down to 1,000?
Right.
You know, if open interest drops down to 1,000, that means they bailed.
Right.
So that's why we look at open interest.
Is there a fast way to check open interest on Blackbox?
Not yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Not yet. We do have the OI tab here, but that's just taking into consideration the change in open interest.
Gotcha.
So that's what this is showing you, is which ticker's got the different change. You can look at calls or puts.
Okay, cool.
So it does show you a nice, you know, quick reference on which strike, which expiration, which symbol had a nice change in the open interest from day to day. What we're working on is the new charting system that we'll be releasing here shortly. We'll actually have some open interest built into the charting system as well.
That's neat. I like that.
Our charts are going to just, I mean, where they are now compared to where they're going to be is night and day. You're going to be able to look at 4 charts at a time. You'll be able to set alerts that they're working on currently, that the alert can text your phone, and when it hits the alert, you'll get the message. I mean,
man, that's cool.
It's going to be amazing. What they'd be done by now. However, our programmers that are working on our charts are Ukrainian.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they were. So they had to actually pack up their business and move to safer areas, because they were like 10 miles off the border. Yeah.
Oh man, that's too bad.
So yeah, so they've been definitely in our thoughts, but they're doing okay, and
good.
They're back to work, but they had to definitely pack up and move to some safer ground. So.
Yeah, no kidding, man. That's wild.
Yeah, but that's on the horizon. There was one thing I wanted to show too, was the watch list feature that I don't think a lot of people utilize very much, and I wish they would. So the watch list feature, you can see it down here on the bottom right. What that does is it lets you create your own watch list of tickers. Okay, and there's 2 different options up here that you can filter the flow. So you can filter the flow by only seeing the flow for certain tickers, or you can omit certain tickers. So let's say, because you do a watch list as well, right? You do a daily one that you put out.
Yeah.
So let's say you come in here 100 and you have these 4 tickers: Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. And you're like, okay, I only want to see the flow for those 4 tickers today, because they're my focus. So you check them on the only side. You hit this little button there where it says only. Now you can see it says only on. I go over to my flow, and now that's all I see is Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, nothing else.
Okay.
So
cool.
if I'm in a Tesla call, I can watch it, and I can say, okay, they're buying calls, they're buying calls, they're buying calls. Oh my goodness, they're coming in on the bid and they're buying puts. You know, and that's what we do all day long, is watch that, because you can watch these candles go up, we can watch them come down based on what's happening here on the flow. Now, I use the watch list more as omit, to be honest, because Tesla gets so much flow that I trade Tesla about once a day at least, but I rarely trade it off of flow because it gets so much of it. It's hard to get a read on it. To prove my point, Tesla is always down here in either bullish flow or bearish flow. It's always in the top 5 of one of those 2.
Right.
And look where it was today. Top 1 for bullish flow. But look what Tesla did today.
The thing is crazy,
No.
man. Like,
So that's why I say when it comes to Tesla, I don't trade off of flow. I trade off of technicals.
right.
What happened after hours with Tesla, by the way? Good grief.
What
Been-
the hell? I didn't
I-
even see that.
I know.
What happened? Was
Oh,
there news or something?
Must be the $15 move.
What
Wow.
the hell?
So I use the omit button. So I'll take, and Apple is another one that gets tons of flow. And there's just days it's like I don't want to see it. So I'll check those boxes, hit that, and then when I come over here to my flow, it removes Tesla and Apple out of the flow. Which what it does, it just shrinks it down, makes my focus a little bit easier. So there's a less chance of me missing something big
Right.
as it comes through. So the watch list feature is huge, and you can filter it. You can have it on or you can have it off. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
and
that's
you
really
can,
cool, actually.
Yep, you
It's-
can add symbols. You can just type in a symbol and add it. I'm not sure which ones I don't have up there, but let's just say Baba.
Sure.
Do that. Say, okay, I want to put it there, hit save, and then it adds it to the bottom of my line. Then to get rid of one, just click it and it takes it away.
Awesome. And so, can you save this to your account so when you sign back in, it's there?
Yes, it
Okay.
will always save.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
So here's a note that they're working on and I don't know if they've repaired it yet, but if you hit clear list, currently there was no warning of, are you sure you want to do this? Because if I hit clear list, it would just wipe it out.
Oh, immediately?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
shit.
I told them, I said, guys, we need a, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah,
button.
for sure.
So yeah, this list has been up here now for months for me.
Yeah.
Every time I sign in, it's there.
That's awesome. That's a lot of great stocks in that list.
Yeah. So the other feature too that I think sets us apart from so many other flow services that you can trade. I know you're up in Canada, so this doesn't help you currently, but you can trade directly from Blackbox using either E-Trade or TradeStation. And that is where I think really one thing that sets us apart.
That's really
because
cool.
it is absolutely the fastest way to get in and out of a contract. So for example, I can go over here to the trade button and I can click on either TradeStation or E-Trade, and I click that, hit login. It takes me to either TradeStation or E-Trade's account, their website. You log in your credentials. You have to agree to an agreement, and then it brings you right back into Blackbox, and then you go to your positions, and you'll see your positions you currently have. You can go to account, see how much buying power you have. I mean, it shows you everything that your account has.
Okay.
Then you come over here to options, and as options flow is coming in, you're like, oh, I want to get into that contract right there. You hit that little question mark, and what happens, because I'm not logged in currently, what happens is it brings up an order box. You start typing in, I want 5 contracts at market, place order, bam, it's in your account just that fast.
That's awesome. That's actually really cool and very unique.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone else does that.
It is very unique, and what's so nice about it is I know before we did it, I'd see the flow and be like, okay, now I gotta get on my phone, because I trade mainly off my phone.
Me
I
too.
I use my PCs for all of the charting and stuff, but so I'm going, getting into E-Trade. I'm trying to find the option chain. I got to get here, got to get there, finally find it. And by the time I do all that, 30 seconds, 45 seconds go by, and the contract could have moved 20% on you.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have maybe have heard me say it before. As options traders, we make our money on the entry. Because when you're fighting the clock and when you're fighting time decay, it's all about the entry.
Right.
So that's why, like on my watch list that I put out every day, let me find it here. I can just do it this way. I think you showed it on Twitter there, but let me pull it up here.
Yeah, I popped one of your older ones up.
Why is that not searching? Oh, there we go. Put the @ there. There we go.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So when I pull this up and I show everybody, wait for those price levels to retest. So many times they buy in the middle of no man's land, And when you're buying a weekly contract, that can't happen because your time decay is just going to eat away, right? We've all been there where it's like you buy. Let me make this chart a little bit easier to read. Not sure what we're looking at here. Tesla. Okay. So on this chart, if you're going to go long on Tesla, the best opportunity to go long would be where? Let me blow this up. It would be at this point right here, right? Because it broke through. Now it came down and retested. It didn't close below. The wick touched the line.
It's a nice candle there too.
Yep, and then you buy there 787 all the way up to over 800 in 5 minutes. That's a 70% move on a Tesla contract right there.
And you're in and out, right?
Yep, exactly. So many people buy here, right? They buy in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Well, you may get your run up, or you may be thinking, hey, it's going to reject here off the 34 and come down, but you got to wait for the retest. And see, this retested, it held, then it punctured through this line, and then it punctured through that line. So, man, patience is such the key when it comes to trading options. You have to wait for the right entry. Because as we talked about earlier, I mean, if you would have bought right here thinking, oh, I'm going short, look at this thing, it's just in a waterfall mode.
Right.
Oh, man, you just got reversed on $40.
And one thing, too, is on that flush, you actually have really good risk to reward 4 calls there, too, being that support level.
Yes. Yeah. So remember, this is the 15 minutes, so it would have set at 9:45.
Right.
Which was there, that candle.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this line, you didn't know whether that was firm yet because this was the 9:35 minute candle was right here.
Right.
So we broke below it. The Tesla was a little tricky today. But what's interesting is the 9:45 candle, when that did set, was sitting right on the 34 EMA.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And then it used that as a springboard to move up past the orb high, which that's great to see because it set that within the first minute right there. That wick was the orb high. And then it punctured through, failed. The 34 held. Then it punctured through, retested, and then went up, and then it faded back down for the rest of the day for a little bit. So patience is the key. We always say wait for that retest, that BRB, as Theta teaches, we teach. It's hard to do. Trust me, it's hard to learn. It's hard to take that, and think, oh, I just need to be in. I need to be in.
Right.
And with options trading, that's just not the case. So make sure your entry is, if you're having difficulty in options trading, I'd venture to say it's because your entries are in the wrong spot. And you're getting stopped out, or you're getting too much red and you're panic selling because you're buying in the middle of nowhere. So just remember this as a little technique. If you're going long, buy on support. If you're going short, buy at resistance. And what happens in the middle, leave it alone.
100%.
Wait till you get to that level of support or resistance.
And we have some guys here from the Stacks House tonight. We call it over there, we call it the break and base. It's the same thing, a BRB, a break and base. Exact same idea and concept there.
Yep, exactly.
So one thing that I'd love to kind of walk through, because one thing that I really, really enjoy about, or one of the first things that I saw about the content that you put out for free on Twitter, and this actually made me like some good money, so thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Is those free streams you do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Can you talk a bit about those, where to find them, and then kind of walk through how you play the open? I think that'd be really cool.
Sure, absolutely. So if you're a Blackbox member, we post them in the bulletin board. So you can come over here, and right there you can see Happy Friday. Charlie and I did the live screen together. Then we did one today, this morning. Happy Monday. There's the webinar links. You can also go to the education tab under class calendar. And just for everybody, just so everybody can see, this is all of the education that we provide to our members free of charge. There's no extra. We don't, once you buy in for the month or buy in for the year, this is all included. And there is no additional things. You get Discord, you get Blackbox, you get all the education, you get the 12 moderators. So it's the real deal. But you can also see every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do the 9:15 Trading with Swan live stream. Now, if you're not a member of Blackbox and you want to join, I typically do put that out in the mornings, just before, and I'll put some little tweet out there about it. Here, this was this morning's. There's the link to sign into. So we'll do another one on Wednesday. We'll do another one on Friday. And starts at 9:15. So the first 15 minutes is kind of a walkthrough of the platform, kind of what we did tonight. A little bit briefer, obviously, because we only have 10 to 15 minutes. And then Charlie and I sit there and we watch option flow as it comes in. We watch those orb strategies as they come in, those orb levels. And we just see if there's anything to get into. So, for example, this morning, were you on this morning, 100?
No, I was pretty busy at work this morning.
No, no worries. So this morning, the market was doing some crazy stuff. Remember, we don't know what the rest of the day is going to bring. So this is just kind of what we saw those first 20 minutes or so. But they came in with some Goog and some Google. I mean, this Goog was almost $1 million, and this one was 200,000. Kind of out of the bat, which was kind of odd. This one was really interesting because it expired next week. Excuse me. No, expired this week. I'm sorry. So they were putting about $200,000 into a weekly contract.
Okay.
And at 1041, which would be at this candle right there, which was at the time low of day. Right? Remember, we can't see all this. This hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So at 1041, they hit this at low of day, right there at the Orb 15 low, with 200,000.
Impressive.
So I jumped into one of these contracts. I said, guys, I'm going to wait for the retest. So we watched it, and it finally fell back down and failed. Right.
Kind of fell under a little bit.
And I could tell they had not sold. They were still in it. And so I was like, that's interesting to me. And then they added to it, I think, a small amount. I don't remember what exactly happened. That was too many trades ago. But what happened is it came back up and retested, failed, retested. And then at this point, it broke back through this line. And I said, I'm taking a shot. So I went long on Goog. Followed the same contract. I think I actually got in for like $35 instead of $42. And I sold it for $41.40 just a few minutes later. So we made about $500 and some per contract within a few minutes.
Gotcha.
Because I sold it once we got up to this price point. I'm like, it's acting goofy. At that time, the queues were also having a hard time.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just taking since I know some people probably followed me in, I'm going to take the green. We tend to be a little more reserved when it comes to trades that we know other people have followed us in. So we tend to get out a little early to make sure everybody gets their green. But yeah, that was a nice one. I bought a couple contracts. We made $1,000 in a couple minutes off that one.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. So that's what we're looking for. We're just looking for odd things that come through those first few minutes. Like I said, we'll turn on the Orb 5s, the Orb 15, the Orb 30s, and then just sit back and wait. I mean, we watch for these crossovers. That's another one that we'd like to notice is that when the 34 crosses either down or up on these orb levels, it does tend to give it a push.
Okay.
So look at that crossover right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As soon as Goog crossed to the downside and that 34 crossed the orb low, that thing moved $30 in 12 minutes.
Wow.
From there to here in 12 minutes. So that's another thing we watch are these crossovers. Let me see if there's one on the upside. Let me look at nope, MU didn't quite get there. who finished green today? Any good tickers finished green today?
Let's see.
Visa, didn't Visa finish green? Yeah. So there you can see again. As soon as that crossed over, it came 34. The price actually came down, tested it, and then that nice pop right back up for another couple dollar move.
Right. So that's like an extra formation of the base there with the 34. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like stacked EMAs, right? So anytime time goes on and you start getting these EMAs all stacked up, that's going to be stronger line. Same thing with this 34 and these orbs. They become pretty strong lines.
Gotcha. Okay. Chat's saying mRNA, PFE as well.
Yeah, mRNA was another one that.
Oh, we got that Tesla news, by the way. I guess they announced something with their Model Y. Tesla's gearing up to launch a 279-mile range version of the Model Y, basically.
Oh, okay. PFE was a beast. Maria, one of our moderators, played PFE today. She called it right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she got well over 100% on those. I think on our alert. Yeah, on our alert there, you can see PFE went for 244%.
Whoa. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a gorgeous play right out of the gate. Held pretty well too. So
interesting.
So yeah, that's what we do in the mornings, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Come hang out with us. We love to have you. We love questions, and we talk through everything. I also go through my watch list at that point. So, we get questions all the time about my watch list that I put out every morning and how I play it. And we go through those things as well, as far as waiting for that retest. The BRB is really the way to go right now, just because of the volatility we have in this market.
Right. No, 100%. Do we go over, or can we go over really quick, just like the beginner settings that are good for options flow for, newbies to the room?
Absolutely. We did not go over that, but let's do that. Let me reset this. Let me just go back to initial login, because then I come over to options, and this is the default setting of the option flow. Okay, so this is the way it comes in. So real easily, I don't know how easy it is to read this on your guys' screens.
It looks good. Looks good.
That's okay. So we filter out initially ETF flow, and we talked about that. We talked about why. Because it can be a little overwhelming. You start adding in all of those ETFs, and you're adding now thousands of lines of flow, so we can take that off initially. If you want to add it in, go ahead, just check the box. We also filter out the bid or below bid. So what we're showing you at this point is just opening transactions only, because they're at the ask or above ask. And again, we're doing that because people get confused early on with newbies. They see the B or the BB and they ignore it, and they're like, "Oh, look at they're buying all this option flow," and actually they're closing out of it, right?
Right.
So we filtered that out for you initially. If you want to add it in, you can check those two boxes. Now, here's what's interesting. A lot of people don't realize this, that if you check those 4 boxes, you're still not getting all of the flow, because you're filtering out everything that's in the middle. So what do I mean? If I uncheck these and hit set filter, now you see some of these don't have anything.
Oh,
it's because they filled in between the spread.
Right.
So it happens all the time where people are like, "Oh my goodness, did you see that flow?" And we pull it up and we're like, "Oh yeah, look at that." This was not a good example. Let me find another one. Yep, same thing. But they're like, "I don't see it. I don't see that big sweeper. I don't see it at all." And it's because it filled in the middle, and they have their filters too restricted.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. So if you want to see all of it, you uncheck the 4. I don't personally do that, because if it fills in the middle, I don't know the direction, right? I don't know if it was a buy or a sell at that point. I have no idea. A lot of people do watch it who watch multi-leg, which is, a lot of those spreads, because they're way smarter than I am, and they can figure out, oh yeah, this multi-leg, this was what they did, and they covered this and bought the Iron Condor calendar Yeti spread or whatever they call them. So That's what the lots of people, like I said, people smarter than me handle that. So,
Yeah.
but the way I run mine is I check these 2 boxes.
Okay.
That's basically the same as checking all 4, but I just check those 2 boxes. Then I'm seeing all of the above ask. I'm seeing the bid and the below bid. So I'm seeing those 4.
Gotcha.
And then we recommend you uncheck puts for the newbies, because again, so much of it is put flow. So much of that put flow is hedging that it confuses them. And there's so much flow that comes through the tape that it can just be overwhelming to them. So, but we're trying to bring in the blinders a little bit, right? Put the blinders on,
Right.
focus on just what the most high probability flow is going to be, and that's going to be at or above ask calls. And
Got it.
then, because put flow has paid very well, obviously, this year.
Yep.
But in most environments, that put flow is hedging. So
Yeah, it can get really tricky.
it definitely can. And we'll see these things, Theta's got his missiles and his bombs, his grenades. And,
We talked about that too. That's funny.
you guys talked about that?
Yeah.
So I mean, there are definitely those things that we see come in on put flow, and you're like, okay, that's not a hedge. That they're not hedging with millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
That's obviously. Let me show you some that we got last week.
Yeah, let's see it.
Let me check those.
And as far as like for you yourself and your trading, are you more of like a day trader, swing trader? Depends on the market. And are you like just doing like naked calls and puts, or do you have any other advanced strategies that you'd like to tackle? What's Swan's trading kind of like?
Yeah, good question. I am. I'll tell you what I'm comfortable doing.
Yeah.
My comfort level is scalping.
Gotcha.
I'm directional. I do not do spreads. I don't do multi-leg.
Okay.
I don't do covered calls or any of that. I'm strictly directional momentum. So I follow those breakouts, those fails. There was a time last year where swinging was gold, right? I mean, you just bought a call and waited, and you made money on it.
Right.
And that's when we saw call flow doing so well as well. I mean, it was beautiful watching call flow come in, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll buy that. And then within a day or two, you're at 100%,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just not the environment we're in right now. So we got lazy as traders, as flow traders, and we were like, oh, just follow the flow. Well, now the flow's not really there that well. So we're back to doing a lot of technical analysis, but the flow still tells us the story.
Right.
Hell's Bells, one of our moderators, which by the way, you need to have him on if you haven't.
100%. Yeah, I know.
He's amazing. And he says it the best. He's like, option flow gives us the pulse of the market. It is based. I mean, we have the stethoscope up to the heart of the market, and with every line of flow that comes through, we hear the pulse of the market. And it's very true. I mean, right now, the market, we can tell by the option flow, we are in a bear market. I mean, you don't have to look at pricing. You could just look at the option flow and know that.
Right.
The put side and the covered bid, the calls on the bid they just far outweigh the bull thesis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll know the minute that changes. We will know absolutely. I mean, we can go back to option flow on the COVID lows, and we can pull up that date in March, and we can show you exactly the flow that changed. Everybody's opinion on the bottom is in.
Right.
I mean, all of a sudden we start seeing call flow come in for airlines and hotels in the millions of dollars when we'd been nothing but selling for the last couple of weeks. That was okay. I think we're time to go long. The pulse of the market was telling us that.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that today. We do that intraday. I mean, we'll be watching SPY flow, and all of a sudden we start seeing calls on the bid, okay, puts on the ask. All right, we're going to go back down. And, you buy a little scalp and you're in and out, watch the call flow. So you start seeing those puts on the bid and the calls on the ask, you cover yours and because we're going to get a little bit of a bounce. I mean, so that's why we use it. That's how we use it. And my comfort level is scalping in this market. I don't hold anything hardly at all overnight anymore. You just, swinging right now is just not the way to go unless you're swinging puts blindly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But even that, one headline could destroy those.
Yeah.
So I think most traders right now are day trading and just going to bed at night with cash.
Yeah, I think so too. And so obviously you're taking most of your trades in the morning. Are you still kind of looking and trading towards the afternoon and power hour?
Yeah, another good question. So I trade mainly the first hour and a half to 2 hours of the day. Then I don't trade typically until 3 o'clock again.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I take most of the afternoon, late morning, or lunchtime. I don't do much trading at all.
Gotcha.
I'll be at my desk. I'll be doing some other things. I'll be listening to Discord and listening to the news. If anybody calls out some big news, there might be a nice runner. But I typically don't trade much during the afternoon, and then I will watch Power Hour. But most of the time, it's the first 2 hours of the day, and I'm done.
Yeah, I hear you. That's same with me.
Yeah, and I find that's what works for me. My trade journal. I went back and looked, and I saw so many of my failing trades were taken between 11:30 and 2:30, and I'm like, because of the chop that happens, and I'm like, okay, there's no need for me to be giving back my gains. And how many of us have done that, right? Made good gains in the morning, and by the evening we're red because we just slowly gave it back.
100%.
Yep. So you know what? As we say, leave the casino. You got your money. Take it. Put it to work tomorrow.
That's it. It's fun. Yeah, like for me, if I found that like a weird stat that if I was holding something, like sometimes you buy into something and the move doesn't happen right away. It doesn't happen to me so much anymore, but maybe a month or two ago, this was happening to me a lot where I'd take an entry. Maybe it wasn't the best entry, or I was waiting for a move and it was just kind of lagging or whatever. And I found that if I was holding a position for longer than X amount of time or past like 11 o'clock, it was always for a loss. And I was like, man, I gotta be done. Like I gotta take my money and just get out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. So it's it took me a couple years to learn that because I got tired of giving back the gains.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, man, why didn't I just stop?
Something interesting maybe we could just touch on a little bit. What do you think about the mindset, or like what happens to someone when, let's say they take an entry and it's, even a really good entry and they're green on the day, but they want more out of it and they don't get that and end up red on the trade? What do you think's happening there, and how can newer traders combat that?
Yeah, that's, you have two extremes there, right? You've got the person that jumps out too soon, and then you've got the person that stays in too long.
Right.
You will never hit the exact top. If you're long, I shouldn't say never. Very, very rarely will you get out at the very tip top. So what I tell people to do, and that's where it gets, is you got to move those stop losses up. That is the best way to maximize your gains. And a couple months ago, we did that. I did that live in Blackbox. I took a Disney position for a scalp, and I had a bunch of people follow me into it. And I just said, guys, and it moved really well. I think it was on some news, and I said, let's just move our stops up.
Right.
So as the contracts kept moving up, now I'm moving my contract up to here. Oh, now I'm moving it up to here. At this point, I'm selling half of my position. I'm taking some of that money. The other 50%, let's move that stop up. Oh, let's move it up again. Now I'm taking 25% more off. So now what basically I have left is house money. And, keep moving it up. Oh, I got stopped out. No worries. I made good green. I got stopped out. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, it may have moved up another 20, 30 cents. per contract, but then then it's going to probably more than likely give back, retrace back down about 50% of what it just gained.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing that I would recommend for newer traders is learn to play with those stop losses. And as there's no reason to get out of a trade just because you're looking at your P&L. That's where people make the mistake. They're watching their P&L, they're not watching the chart.
Right.
So a turning point for me is when I turned off P&L. Once I turned off P&L off of my brokerage account, my trading mindset changed completely.
Yeah.
Because now I'm trading the chart and not my profit loss.
100%.
Because what I found, what was happening to me is as a new trader, and tell me if this has happened to anybody, because I know the answer. You buy into a position, you bought the wrong time,
Right.
and it drops on you, and you're like, oh man. So what does new traders do? They average down.
Yeah.
So they buy more.
I've been there.
Yeah. So then they buy a little bit more, and for that one time it actually works, right? It actually works, and you come back to even and you sell. You're like, I'm tired of being red. I'm even. I'm out, because you were looking at your P&L.
Right.
Only to watch that stock
just rip.
And you're like, oh my God, I sold for even. Or maybe you got stopped out and took a loss.
Right.
And that thing just ripped, went to the upside, and you're like, oh my gosh, I could have made so much more money.
Right.
Trading with your P&L does. So if you're trading the chart, you would not have gotten in when you did.
Mm-hmm.
You would have gotten out much sooner than you decided to double down on, because you're like, hey, it broke resistance, I'm out. Or it broke support, I'm out. That's the hardest thing for new traders to learn, is that it's okay to be wrong. We are wrong every day. And the only thing that we have control of is how much we lose.
Right.
That's the only thing we can control, is how much we lose. So that is our number one priority. As we all know, everybody says it, right? Risk management. You got to be able to control that. So on the upside, same thing. If you have multiple positions, scale out as it's moving up, take some of those profits, take some more profits. What you have left, move that stop up, make yourself get stopped out.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to maximize your gain, and then move on and put that money to work again tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Hopefully I answered your question.
No, that's great. That's really great. So you're trading full time, right?
Yeah, I also have another job, but yeah,
Gotcha.
I pretty much trade full time. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So like as far as risk management, like we touched on a little bit, how, like, I feel like a lot of new traders like have trouble defining risk management and how to actually apply that to an entry, to a trade. How, like, being a scalper, that's pretty tough. I'd say that's tougher than if you're a swing trader to really risk manage on the fly like that. Like, what are some strategies that you can implement to really define a lower risk entry on a scalp trade?
So it's going to come down to quality, not quantity.
Right.
So again, different account sizes and risk management is night and day. So you hear these percentages all the time people give, and you never put more than 10% of your account into one position. Well, if I have $1,000 account, that's going to be kind of hard to do. It can be done. If I'm never supposed to take a trade more than $100, it could be done, but man, it's going to be painfully slow. So on the growth side,
Right.
So the smaller the account, you do end up taking more risk. I'm just going to say it, 'cause whether you want to say it or not, we all did it.
Yeah, no,
And
it's true.
Because of that, we blew up some accounts too.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get some growth and some momentum, you do take a little bit of higher risk. But over time, it's that 1% rule, the cumulative 1%. If you can make 1% of profit on your account, what that does day after day after day, the first 3 months is painful, and you're like, I don't see how this is ever going to pay off. And then you get into month 4, month 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and all of a sudden now you're rolling in the money, just doing 1% gains on your account size. For small accounts, that's easy to do. Once your account gets really large, 1% can be a lot. But that's where, those small gains are important. Risk management, in my opinion, is not just risking how much you're willing to lose, but also having an exit plan on the upside, saying, you know what, I'm going to get out of this trade at this point because I'm going to be happy with that green and I'm done.
Right.
And I'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's where the difficult thing is for most traders, is to have that need to have their money in the market all the time. I mean, there's 100, I'll tell you, there's days, there could be a couple days a week I don't take a trade at all.
Right.
I'm like, if it's not there, it's not worth it to me. I'm not putting my money out there. New traders can't do that. They think they have to have their money in the market.
Right.
And every time, not every time, but a lot of times when it happens, it's at the wrong time, or they don't know what they're doing. They're basing it off of a hunch or an emotion, and it never turns out well for them. But if you're scalping and you're trying to look for that perfect entry, scalping is one of those things where you have to be able to be in front of your screen, right? You can't be doing that while doing something else. A scalp trade could be 10 seconds. It could be a minute, could be 10 minutes for me. But it all comes down to that patience of waiting, knowing when, all right, and trusting the chart. Trusting, hey, when let me pull this up again. Let's go back over to the cues. There we go. Trusting the chart and saying, when this cue breaks through this low and it retests and fails, I'm going short, and trusting that. Low risk entries are key, and that's what the BRB does, right? It teaches you that low risk entry, because if this shoots back up, I'm out. I was wrong. I'm okay with that. I'm cutting my losses and I'm out.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'm out for a small loss.
Yeah.
But if I short here, if I'm trying to go long here because, it's going to bounce, I'm going long, and it fails, you're like, okay, well, maybe it'll bounce at this point. Nope, it didn't. Okay, maybe it'll bounce down here at this dark pool level. Nope, it didn't. Maybe it's going to bounce at 0.
Maybe just keep averaging down.
Yeah. That's where most traders, their entry might be okay,
right?
But they're not sticking to their rule of exit.
Yeah.
And trading's not easy. If it was easy, everybody could do it.
Yeah, man, you gotta be a robot, for real.
It is, and that's why on my watch list that I put out, I tell people, and that's why I don't post my entries and exits. Because I tell people, I don't want you to be a follower. I want you to become a robot and be able to have that muscle memory of, hey, I'm buying long here. Oh, it's coming up to resistance. I'm going to flip and sell. I'm going to flip my long and go short because I'm coming up to resistance. And no emotion involved, right? It's all technical. And that muscle memory as a trader is key. But the battle we have to fight between our ears is insane every day, so that trying to get through that every day is extremely difficult, and it just takes time. It takes time in the seat.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, all right. I think you answered that beautifully. If anyone else has any questions in chat about options flow, black box stocks, anything like that, feel free to ask those now. And if not, I think we'll move towards the end of the session tonight. Anything that you want to touch on, Swan, that maybe we didn't get to, or you think is kind of important to note?
No, I think we've covered a lot. I appreciate you having me on, as always. We appreciate you. XTMSC, do I use TOS? I use TOS for my charting, for the Swan Daily Watch List. but I don't use it as my broker. No, I use E-Trade and TradeStation are my two brokers that I use. Yeah.
And which ones were available for the instant buying on Blackbox again? It was TD
It's those two, TradeStation and E-Trade.
and E-Trade. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And then we're working. It's not as easy as it sounds to add brokers, but we're constantly looking at adding some others. So we'll
Gotcha.
hopefully have some in the future.
Okay, good stuff.
Any way you could share a chart with your settings on TOS? I don't have TOS pulled up currently. You're saying as far as how I find my support and resistance lines? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, either that or your indicators.
Okay. So earlier, here, let me just type them into chat here. These are my EMAs that I use. And they are EMAs, okay?
Gotcha. Okay.
There you go. The 8, the 21, the 34, the 55, the 89, the 200, and 377.
You just punch them in a chat there.
I did.
Okay, cool.
So you guys should see those there. That's what I use as far as my levels of yeah, no worries. Throughout the day. And then I don't, like I said, I don't have those on all the time because it's too many lines for my take. But I typically use the 34 and then I'll pop in and see in the 89, the main two that I use throughout the day. Because if we're below the 34, for example, let me pull up the Qs here and I'll add.
And you primarily use the 1 minute chart, right?
I use the 3-minute mainly.
Okay, gotcha. Me too.
A lot of times, but that's the other change that's coming is Blackbox doesn't have a 3-minute.
Okay.
So they're working on that for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you can kind of see that crossover there, the 34 and the 89 right there.
Mm-hmm.
And the price action as soon as that happened, so I'll use those quite a bit in conjunction with each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
No, good stuff. What other platforms may be coming?
Yeah, you're talking about other brokerage accounts. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information, but I know they are constantly working on adding some additionals. So, I mean, we know who the main brokers are out there, and if we don't have them, you can bet that we're working on getting them. Let me put it that way.
Gotcha. In a few words, what do we look at in flow? I mean,
same strike, same expiration, price of the contracts moving up, IV moving up.
Perfect.
Yep, that's what we're looking for.
Okay, no, that's awesome. And so, how long is this promotion running for, and where can we find it for Blackbox stocks?
Yeah, so it runs, currently it's set to conclude again on this Friday at 8 p.m. Or no, I'm sorry, at close, which will be 4 p.m. Eastern. Easiest way to get to it is you have a link as well, I think, on your system. But then you can also, if you follow me, you can come over here to my profile on Twitter and just click on that. You click on that and it'll take you right to the $5 page and hit the join now and come join us.
That's awesome.
Yep. We've, like I said, record signups over the last 5 days, whenever we started this thing, and we're looking to finish it off strong. I did say this on Twitter that if I get 100 signups under my affiliate link profile there, that I will do a class on Blackbox strictly for my watch list and tell everybody how I develop it and how I do that each morning. So
that's awesome.
Little teaser there to kind of get some excitement. It'll be fun to have that class and get that done, the education. So yeah, come hang out with us.
Let's go. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on, man. This is a lot of fun. Really good education session. Once again, this will be most likely posted on YouTube and will be available under Twitch videos as soon as I hit that end button. Oh, sorry, I just jumped out of the call there. My bad. I just jumped out of the call by accident.
Oh, I was gonna say, did I lose him?
No, you're good. You're good. That was my fault. But yeah, so check out Swan on Twitter, guys. That is Swan1427. Go hit him with the follow. On the road to 10,000 followers. Definitely want to check him out. Lots of great free content and educational content as far as Blackbox stocks and flow and, all things like that. So,
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime. I love what you're doing. We're a big fan of yours as well. So anytime you want any of us with you, don't be afraid to ask, and we'll have somebody here to assist.
That's super cool, man. Yeah, so I'm planning on having Hell's Bells on soon and Thu Kang as well. They're on the list. And as far as future Twitch streams, like for the week, I do have a few more shows coming up this week. Not with Blackbox Stocks members, but I do have Mando Trading coming on Wednesday, Stock Talk Weekly on Saturday, Simply Sim on Saturday as well. And then I'll try to get Thu Kang and Hell's Bells on the following week. So lots of insane content coming that you guys do not want to miss. And I actually am working on getting Theta Warrior back for an advanced options strategy session. So like the condors, the butterflies, and all that crazy stuff that you guys are dying to know about. We're going to be doing a special kind of advanced options stream with Theta Warrior, as well as a live trading stream with Theta Warrior. We're working on that as well. So that'd be really cool to get him on voice and do some live trading. And Options Mafia, aka Charlie, is going to be in a future episode coming up as well. So there's a lot of content going on over here on the Twitch channel. So make sure you're following. I appreciate it. And if you want to give me a little tip, you can sub. I think it's like $5, $6. So I appreciate it. Yeah. So anything else you want to shout out or conclude on, Swan, before we jump out here?
No, again, I thank you everybody for joining tonight, and we'll see you on the trade floor.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming on, Swan. I can't wait to jump into your classes there Wednesday and Friday. We'd love to see it. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Yeah, you guys have a good night.
All right, man. Take care. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, that was Swan. Follow him out on Twitter. Once again, Swan1427. Let me get some hype music up here to end things off with. All right. A little bit of Jason. Okay, let's sprinkle that on. Okay, yes, sir. That was awesome, guys. Type 1 in chat if you appreciated the stream tonight. If you learned something. Swan's awesome. Great guy. Family man. 2 amazing kids. Hard-working family man. I love that. I love the self-flex, you know? You need to. What's going on, Ninja? Ray the Ronin. What's going on, brother? I think I modded you, Ryu. There you go. You're mod now. Congratulations. Just back from dinner. What did I miss? Just the most critical part of the stream. What? Yes, sir. So yeah, make sure you hit up Swan on Twitter, guys. Here's the link right here if you want to sign up. $5 for the rest of the week, and then I think that's it for Blackbox stocks. So make sure you take advantage of that. It's $5, you know. Trying to finish this MBA this year and finish 500K at the end of the year. Sheesh. Okay. Hannah just joined your Discord. Can you tell a little what happens there, please? Yeah, so I do like a daily watch list. We do call outs in the call out channel and a lot of options discussion on large caps floor. It's just a small Discord for now, so you won't get too many notifications. And, your questions get answered pretty quickly because there's not a lot of us in there. So Colonel carries the Discord. It's true. He just gives us swords so he can threaten to take them away. That is, yeah, that's big facts. That's big facts. Yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for 10K, guys. That's super, super cool. I'm just there for comic relief. And she kills it. She kills it. All right, guys. I'll see you Wednesday night with Mando Trading, and we might actually finish up Life is Strange 2. I might get Colonel on voice, and we'll wrap that game up. We got one more episode of that to get through, and it's going to be emotional and destroy me. So if you're interested, I think Wednesday night we'll finish that up. Let's go! Colonel, I need you on voice for that, though. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, we're going to put that in the title, Deb. No one's on your level. Love you. Love you, my ninja. Yes, sir. No, I bet. Deb, don't embarrass me. Oh, my God, dude. That's insane. All right, guys. I gotta jump out before I start crying again. I love you. Goodbye. Have a great night. Enjoy Jason by the midnight. 100 out.